Hey everyone, Pupsker here, and today we're going over and talking about Devstream 152 in Warframe. It was pretty much the Railjack Revisited update again. They're talking about a lot of the soon-to-come future updates. In my opinion, it was actually a really good dev stream. They gave us a lot of information. They answered a lot of questions from Warframe content creators as well. I'm not going to go over every single aspect of the dev stream. I'm just going to go over some of the more important things, more of the gameplay topics, things like that. And a couple of the questions were answered, which gave me, pretty good talking points in general, because a lot of good questions were asked by a lot of content creators like iFlynn, Brozyme, I think Shy was memeing. There was a ton of other people, so all in all, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Grindhard Squad, I think, had some questions. There were just so many. I didn't listen to all of the Q&A questions because some were memes, some were serious, some were more in-depth, and some were like, we'll have to look into it and or wait a bit. So they took a lot of questions, they answered a lot of stuff, and they talked a ton about the future updates of Railjack, Sevagoth, everything. So let's get started. The waypoints, it seems like, are being fixed. I think they said that they have now an automated system and it's going through the waypoints, going through all of the maps and fixing them up, things like that. So something along the lines of that, they're fixing the waypoints, thank God, because yeah, I think we've all had issues with the waypoints just being borked as all hell and going all over the place. So that's pretty cool. The next big couple of updates will be Railjack, right? Like, that's the massive part of 2021. We're getting a lot of Railjack. The first thing we're getting is update 29.10, which is, I think they said that's going to be like the mid-March update. That'll be coming with general stuff like corpus Railjack content, command intrinsics. They're talking about Railjack 3.0 in the dev workshop to come, which is just fixing everything. And that one will come on PC first. So this is pretty much a lot of the stuff they're doing, right? They're personalizing your Railjack to be more inclined to you. So all of your abilities, your intrinsics, all of your skills will be more personalized. Your resources will be used by you. So the more you upgrade yourself, the stronger your Warframe experience in Railjack will be, even on someone else's Railjack. So it's more personalized. It actually gives you a reason to update your own stuff, intrinsics, avionics, Railjack, everything. So make sure to do that. They're pretty much doing a ton in Railjack to make it more streamlined and more of Warframe and less of Railjack, because let's be real here, a lot of Railjack has been separated from the core, which is Warframe. And a lot of what they're doing is just tying everything in, making it more fun, more usable, and IMO, 10 out of 10. This was one of the better dev streams. I can't be mad at it. They answered a lot of questions. They're talking about a lot of the great things that they have to come. I will give a lot of my harsh criticisms at the end, but they're not really actually that harsh. They're just things that DE kind of acknowledged already, and I think they're well aware of, because they're doing a pretty good job of being self-aware these days and being just good with knowing what's going wrong with a lot of things. So good job, DE. So the new content for Railjack will have void storms. It'll bring back, and these void storms will be a way to crack relics in Railjack. They said that they will be bringing back relics specifically for Railjack, and it'll have a lot of the harder to get older primes. I think they said Ash Prime as an example. They'll be adding in more missions, they'll be adding back Orphic's Venom, because they're learning that having cool event missions it's really nice, right? But we need a place to play those again, because they put so much work and effort into certain events, which is essentially creating a new game mode, a little bit, but it's creating another game mode, and people want to play that game mode. I personally actually did like Orphic's Venom. I liked a lot of the 1 month event game modes, like the Chondrix, all that. Fun times destroying Chondrixes. So glad to see they're going to be adding missions back. They'll be adding a new mission altogether. And all in all, Railjack will just be a lot better. If they do plan on refunding, removing, or changing up certain things, they are planning on refunding us resources that we spent. So if they're going to, let's say, for example, might not happen, may happen. If they want to change intrinsics around, they'll refund us all of that. So it'll be nice. The most exciting thing, in my opinion, is the fact that Railjack, you're going to be using your own resources and everything, your own Revelites. So people can't troll you, so that fixes the issues I had in my last couple of Railjack videos, so thankfully for that, but shouldn't have had to take 1.5 years, but I'll get to that stuff at the end, because, yeah, naturally, it's good it's coming, okay? It's great it's coming. So I'm glad that if I get any resources refunded, I can use them again, right? 10 out of 10. They're adding mechs into Railjack, into open world. They're trying to add everything together so you can do pretty much everything wherever always, right? Mechs in open world, mechs in Railjack, mechs in regular ass missions. So things like that. They have the plan to buff rifles a lot. Like, they're well aware that guns are hella weak comparative to melee, because combo on melee means that your melee weapon that already has more damage than your guns will now do 12 times that and some because of combo counting mods. So they're well aware of how OP they made melee. So their plan is, they said they want to buff rifles a metric ton. Like, they want to pretty much 90% buff rifles, right? Because rifles just suck ass right now comparatively. So they want to buff the hell out of those, and they want to change up melee a bit. Not necessarily fully nerf it, but definitely nerf it a little bit, like 10%. They said they want to slow down the combat a little bit, but because they have, you know, so many attack speed mods now for melee, they were also just talking about maybe doing the thing where you can only have maybe one attack speed mod equipped at a time, things like that. So they aren't 100% sure. They want to slow down melee a little bit so you can see more of what's actually happening instead of, ooh, pretty colors death. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully they take it a little slower, you know, do it a little cautiously. Don't gut anything. I don't think they're that crazy to do that these days, but hey, you never know. Maybe something crazy will happen, but should be good. They showed off the ghoul saw for a bit. You can ride the ghoul saw. 10 out of 10. Replace K-Drive, would recommend. Yeah, it's cool. It has a cool finisher, so there's not much I can say about that, but yeah. The devs are well aware that they need to update open world missions and some of the older content, because some of it's just, you know, like, it hasn't changed in 10 years. Almost 10 years. More like 7, 8, right? But they are well aware they want to fix up a lot of the open world missions, because they're essentially just mobile defenses or like walk-em quests or exterminates. You know, it's open world quests, which are pretty much regular missions, but in the open world. So yeah, they want to take a look at that, just updating it, revitalizing it, things like that. So, you know, can't be mad at that. 10 out of 10 would smile again. Yeah, I don't know. But honestly, you can't stay mad at that, because that's kind of what people have been asking for. It's what a lot of content creators, people, and players have been asking for. So yeah, in the future, they are looking at a possibility of raids/trials being added back into the game, whether that be through group puzzles, more mechanic-based bosses like Nihil, I don't know, say however you want. So that'll have to wait and see. That's not at all going to be like a soon thing. That'll probably, in my opinion, be like 2 years out or something like that. So yeah, I wouldn't pay too much attention to that anytime soon, but just think of it like this. Yeah, they've definitely been paying attention and looking at what everyone wants, right? So people have been yelling about raids and stuff, so they're definitely looking at the possibility of adding back in trials, making a new type of trial. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see, because you never truly know what's going to happen in game development and active development, because business is business and life is life. So yeah. Sevagoth's third ability, Gloom, will be the Helminth ability. So if you were curious, there you go. A couple more things about Sevagoth. We've already seen, for the most part, Sevagoth, his abilities, everything like that on the last Devstream, but on this one, we just went over a quick couple of things. Your shadow form, you will be able to mod independently from your Sevagoth Warframe. So your shadow form has its own Warframe type mod setup, okay? It will also have, it looks like, melee claws, and you'll mod those claws. All in all, it looks really cool. You can do your own fashion for the shadow form. So fashion framers, oh hell yeah, you bet your Sevagoth can be looking dope as hell with its Sevagoth in its matching shadow form fashion. So yeah, it's gonna look nice if you're good at fashion, or if you're like me, you'll hit buttons until you're like, oh, that looks kind of pretty. And the final thing I have up for the entirety of the notes that I have, at least, is the UI update for the star chart view. They are finally updating the alerts UI for the star chart. So it'll be easier to navigate for your relics, easier to navigate for your standing missions, for sorties, all that. They're just making it a little cleaner, a little better, more, usable, because As everyone knows, the UI menu, especially for alerts specifically, has been a little bad and broken lately, so they are fixing that, and that's really good to know. Okay, so those are the main massive gameplay talking points that I heard about when I was watching through the stream and watching over it the second time. So if there's anything I missed or anything you want to talk about, feel free to throw it down below in the comments, because I don't want to talk about every single thing, because then you might as well just watch the dev stream. No, instead, I'm just going to talk about my opinion. Honestly, this dev stream was really good. The devs are well aware, and I think they have been for like a year plus now, that they cannot overhype these updates. They've been shilling way too hard for the updates to come, because they are, oh no god, they are painfully well aware how pissed off and how much people hated the first rendition of Railjack. Like, in my opinion, that update was the worst thing Warframe has ever come out with in my entire time playing the game, casually, professionally, whatever you want to call it. Like, that has been the single worst update I've ever seen. Like, nobody liked it for its entirety. Like, everyone's like, okay, even the people who liked it were like, I mean, I like it, but holy shit, there's so many things wrong with it still. Like, Railjack 1.0, in my opinion, should have shipped as Railjack 2.0. Railjack 1.0 was essentially just, it made players think the devs have no idea what they were doing because the numbers were off, the game mode wasn't fun, it was so buggy, it was so unplayable, the cost was so high. They released it at the Game Awards, but it had a multiple day waiting period, and they announced it at the Game Awards, and it confused the hell out of a ton of people. So, all in all, my god, people had no clue what the hell was going on, okay? So at this point, they're well aware of how much they've goofed Railjack, okay? It is a year and a half later, and we're getting Railjack 3.0. This is the third major Railjack update, okay? To like the system that they originally released because it was so broken. So they're well aware of how fucked up that original release is and how messed up Railjack has been. So that's why when Railjack 3.0 releases, maybe check out Railjack, give it a look, because they've fixed a lot of the issues that has been plaguing the system thus far. At least it sounds like they will have. Of course, there will be a couple bugs here and there for the first 2 days. I don't as much mind that, as long as it's a playable and fun experience. It's only ever an issue when you can't play like original Railjack for the entire first day or first hours or things like that, so it looks like things are getting a lot better. The Warframe devs are communicating, in my opinion, really well. So this was a great dev stream. Hats off to the devs. I think they did a great job. I don't expect perfection out of every update and everything to be perfect, but as long as they can get a handle on things, make fun updates, and as long as they don't do releases akin to Railjack 1.0 ever again, they'll be okay. But yeah, sorry, Railjack 1.0, it was just such a bad moment and thing in DE's history, and that was about when I was coming back into Warframe, so I was somewhat like, what the fuck is this, right? So, yeah, fun times for sure. It just left a really sad, sour stain in my mouth, but I think DE is well aware of how much of a goof it is, so at least Railjack now is playable. I don't mind playing it solo or with people, but sounds like Railjack 3.0 will make it a pretty fun experience all in all, especially with all the new and better rewards they're either bringing back or adding to the game. So all in all, I like it. I'm happy. I can't complain. This was exactly what I want out of dev streams, and I'm glad that they had this dev stream, and I'm glad that I watched it over a second time, because if you don't know, the way I have to kind of edit my videos and watch over these dev streams is I watch it live once or watch over the recording once while like playing Warframe or something, and then I go over the footage again, edit it, and then get the pieces together for what I want, write notes, things like that. So yeah, the second time over, it made me appreciate the dev stream a lot more, because they're actually giving us a lot of concrete information, saying they're looking at things and, hey, they're communicating. And to be fair, no update has been anywhere near as bad as Railjack 1.0 since Railjack 1.0. They've all been usable, playable, pretty fun all in all, and, you know, because of the whole shman shmemic thing, right? Things are happening. We're getting more story mode eventually, but everything slowed down. So, new story with Call of the Tempestari, update 30. We're getting quests, Sevagoth, all of that, right? And luckily, they're going to be releasing it on all platforms so that everyone will be happy. I think I forgot to mention that earlier, but hey, sorry guys. So it'll be a good time, and I'm pretty excited to stream when all these updates come out. Since I'm now a full-time YouTuber, I can do it pretty quickly, you know, like day of release, and we can check it out together. So I'm pretty excited for the future to come for Warframe, because 7-8 years now of development, it's a good game, and I don't think any new-bound looter shooter is going to be better than Warframe anytime soon, especially with the uniqueness that Warframe is. So yeah. Hope you guys liked the video. Appreciate you for watching. It was just going to be a calm chat about the updates and what's to come. So thank you all. I'm excited, and I hope you are too. If you like the video, comment down below anything you want, especially of the future updates and anything you're excited for. Sub if you like it, if you like it, favorite if you like it, all that jazz. And thank you guys for being here. I'll see you next time. Peace.